Jesus didn't work for me. God, the whole religion thing, it didn't really work for me. It's really funny that a lot of people say that. It reminds me of people who, they do all types of diets and different kind of exercise programs. They're like, it didn't really work. They criticize the program and, this and that. And it really reminds me of what's going on right now in the Christian world, where a lot of these people who are not losing weight, it's because you're not actually following the protocol. There's a lot of programs, out there, on ways to make money or, how to become an expert in this and that. But how many people actually follow through and actually do what these protocols say? I'm sure a lot of them actually do work. It's just we're not following through. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, because there's so many dead Christians out there. Let's just be honest. And I'm not judging, people based off of, me being perfect. No, I 100%. I actually felt like this, where I just felt spiritually dead, and my flesh, I felt like, has been grown where my spirit has been very weak, and it manifests. And it's all in the Bible. It talks about it. We're going to be talking about Luke 6:43 through 49, because it actually talks about how you know a tree by its fruits, right? And I can tell you, if you look around in the Christian community, a lot of people don't have fruits. It's very clear. When there's a really strong Christian brother or sister, you can clearly tell from those who really delve into the word and spend time with the Lord versus people who don't. How can you tell? How can you tell what kind of fruits do they bear? Well, the people who bear good fruits, I'll talk about my pastor, for example. There's a lot of pastors, celebrity pastors, who just go out there and they're great speakers. But how many of them actually live the life, right? My pastor is one who actually lives the life, and just watching him, the way he lives his life, the way he loves his wife, the way he loves his family, his 4 children, the way he loves people all around him, the way he thinks, just the way he, doesn't get angry as often, the way he's kind and he's selfless. It's just the fruits of the Spirit, right? The fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And when I see him, he exhibits the fruits of the Spirit. And Christians like that. Now, most of us, the people like us, there's a lot of spiritually dead people. And the fruits that we bear are selfishness, pride, anger. Do you often find yourself getting angry? We get anxious, depressed. The fruits of the Spirit is to have joy. How can you be depressed if your fruits are supposed to be joy? And what I'm telling you is that it's the reason why we're not experiencing those fruits of the Spirit is that we are not obeying what we hear from the Lord. Just because you go to church doesn't mean you're a good Christian. Just because you spend, 5 minutes with the Lord doesn't mean you're a good Christian. Okay. And now I'm not saying a good Christian in the sense that, there's no good or bad. It's not about, being, spending, it's not about like a competition where we spend a bunch of time with the Lord and, I win, I'm a good Christian. No, it's not about works in that sense. I'm talking about those who really have a relationship with the Lord, which means that I spend time with the Lord. We spend 5 minutes with the Lord and we think we're doing good, right? And I'll tell you that, even in my life, I'm getting back into it. I spent very little time with the Lord, and I would spend a lot of time doing other things, whether it's, I'm spending time with my family, or I'm spending time, there's like good things, right? Like I'm spending time with my family, or I am, working, this and that. But most of the other time, I'm actually spending my time doing a lot of fleshly things. And what that means is I'm like constantly scrolling TikTok, or I'm scrolling Instagram. I'm filling my mind with all types of garbage, to be honest. The stuff that's, even video games, I talk about that in a different video. There's so much satanic stuff that we don't realize. Wizardry or magic or sorcery, that stuff is from the devil. You understand that. It's clear in the Bible. I talked about it in another video. And so that's what I'm spending my time on, and that's what I'm dwelling on. And I'm spending such little time on the Spirit. And so let's actually go through in Luke 6:43. It says, "For no good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit." Okay, for each tree is known by its fruits. Figs are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor are grapes picked from bramble bushes. The good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of the treasure his evil treasure produces evil. Okay, I'm going to skip to 46. "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you?" And then he starts getting into how there's a man who builds his house, who dug deep, laid a foundation, and when the waves came in, it didn't shake it. Okay, and then there's another man who he built his house on the ground without a foundation, and then the stream came, the water came, and it broke it. And his house was in great ruin. And what I'm telling you is a lot of people, we don't have foundations. A lot of us don't have foundation. Let's do an audit. Honest, do you exhibit the fruits of the Spirit? That's the easy audit. Or do you exhibit the fruits of the flesh, which is anger? Okay? Do you have jealousy? Do you have pride? Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Okay? It says in the Bible, do not be anxious. And everything with thanksgiving, thank the Lord, praise God, right? If you are in the flesh, or if you are constantly just not spending time with the Lord and really obeying what Jesus has said, which is, loving your neighbor. Every time you are mean to someone, or you take revenge, or you speak badly about someone, that's sowing into the flesh. That's not obeying the Lord. And so when you say, "Oh, God didn't work for me," or "Jesus didn't work for me," well, it's because I can guarantee you, if you actually follow this word and you obey what God and Jesus actually said, you will live such a different life. You will live such a spiritually sound, happy, joyful, peaceful, kinder, self-controlled life. Some of you guys struggle with lust. I get it, okay? But I can guarantee if you're sowing into the flesh, and what I mean by that is you're playing too many video games, or if you're watching too many movies and just addicted to TV and movies and not spending time with the Lord, well, then you're going to struggle more with the flesh, and you're going to struggle more with lust. Many years ago, I was in the worst place in my life. I mean, my brother just passed away. I was really close to my brother, and we were so broke we couldn't even pay our gas bill or electricity bill. I mean, we literally had our electricity out for a week and our gas out during the dead of winter, so we didn't have heat. Okay, but I can tell you, I exhibited those fruits of the Spirit in the sense that, I mean, really all of the fruits of the Spirit. I had so much love pouring out of my heart, but also I had peace, I had joy, and I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I 100% had it. But also that time, I was spending so much time with the Lord, praying constantly. I used to go jog 9 miles, used to go to this bench in this place called Edmonds, and just be at the beach and just do Bible study for an hour and then come back. I have, so many journals right now. I have many, many journals that are stacked up, all Bible verses, and what this, Bible verse means to me. I spend so much time with the Lord. People are always asking, "Oh, I don't hear from the Lord. He just doesn't speak to me." This is the problem. We're not spending time with the Lord enough. If you spent time like Jesus spent time in isolation and really spend time with the Lord and just, I can guarantee you will hear from the Lord. And I heard from the Lord so clearly back then. And it really takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of work, right? Most diets do. Most programs, the most get-rich programs take a lot of work. It's not easy, but when you sow into it, you will reap the benefits. It says in the Bible, it's true, and I've experienced it before. And so my encouragement to you guys is obey. By obeying, you're building your house on a foundation and not on the sand. Because I can guarantee if you are spiritually growing and, as you're spiritually growing, you want to spread this love. You want to spread Christ. The problem is that the devil comes in, who are the waves. They're going to knock you down. They're going to knock your house down. But if you build your house on the foundation, if you're reading this word, okay, all the time, you're building on the foundation, you will not be knocked down. Okay. And so my encouragement to you guys is to do what this thing says. Read and then do what it says. Take it literally. Okay. This is not a fictional book. We're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to love our enemies. Okay. I see right here in Luke 6:27. Like, for example, loving your enemies. I know it's hard, but it says to do it. Love your enemies. When they hit you, turn the other cheek. Okay? Love, verb. If you have a chance to love them, then love them. So that's my encouragement to you guys. God does work. Christianity does work. Jesus does work. If you want those fruits of the Spirit, if you want peace, okay, if you want overwhelming love, if you want that joy, if you want that self-control, Spirit, I'm telling you, do what this book says, and you will see such a change in your life. I hope you guys have a good day.